America, where everyone has a voice, but too many fail to speak. Too many don't know the foundation of our nation, have never read the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, or the Articles of Confederation, and fail to end up in a voting booth. It's time for change. Welcome to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin, a platform for young America to voice their ideals and have meaningful dialogue on politics, economics, and social issues. Connect at thevoiceofyoungamerica.org. Now, the host of the Voice of Young America, Justin Austin.
Welcome to the Voice of Young America. I'm your host, Justin Austin. How are we doing today, folks? Thank you for listening this week. We want to get started with identifying where our next leader is, or who our next leader is, or how do we find our next leader. And we have to differentiate between leader and president. There's a difference. Donald Trump, he's a president. I think he's doing a great job as a president. And one of the ways that you can tell he's doing a great job as president is that people aren't rioting in the streets. If you look at areas that deal with so many different issues, people are rioting in the streets. People are showing their displeasure at just the basic facets in their lives. This is not the case. This is not what's going on with Donald Trump. People they have their causes, they have their issues, but it's not because he's not serving America. These issues that we have are not first world issues that that people are crying out about. It's not that there's not enough water, there's not enough food, there's not enough money in circulation. Those aren't the case. Those things aren't what's plaguing America in that sense. So he's definitely doing his job in what he's doing with sanctions, or what he's doing with all this red tape that's in business. All these things that he's doing when it comes to taxes and these food stamps, and when it comes to Iran and the nuclear, or when it comes to China. I like what he's doing. Do I agree with everything he's doing? No. But do I like what he's doing? Yes. And I think a lot of people do like it. What I do see is that people are afraid of saying they like a Trump policy. If you were to take a Trump policy and wrap it in Bernie Sanders, or wrap it in Hillary Clinton, or wrap it in Barack Obama, or wrap it in Paul Ryan, people would be like, oh, wow, that's a great idea. But if they know that it's a Trump idea before they hear the idea, they don't like it. But if you hear the idea first and you tell them it came from Bernie Sanders, they'll jump out of their skin. And that's the thing. It's people are almost afraid to agree with the president. People are afraid to actually stand up for their own beliefs if the majority, or who they think the majority, is sided with. And that's the interesting part, because it's not that the majority don't agree. You have so many news outlets telling you that the majority don't agree. You have so many news outlets telling you that you're not in the same place when it comes to values and principles and political ideals. They are the ones separating you. Donald Trump is not separating people. The mass media is separating people. You're separating yourselves. When you decide to only get information from one particular source, you are separating yourself from truth. And you're allowing yourself that manipulation. You're allowing yourself to be fooled, bamboozled, and run amok. Actually, to be clowned. That's what you're allowing yourself to do. And we have to be so conscious of that what we deposit into our spirit has great value to it. Even if you don't value it, even if you don't recognize the value in it, that doesn't strip it of its value, because you can only put out what you have inside of you. You can only put out what you have inside of you. So you're downloading all this information that's telling you Donald Trump is bad. You're downloading all this information that's telling you that you guys don't have the same values. You're downloading all this information that tells you that you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, and that you guys just aren't American. You're downloading all these things, and then you're wondering what's coming out, is why it's coming out, or how it's coming out. What you have to understand is that you're downloading someone else's views. You're downloading someone else's political views. You're downloading someone else's ideals. You're downloading someone else's values. And wonder why You can't hold true to anything. Wonder why there's all this division. First of all, if you hold true to yourself and you start downloading truth, what path would you be walking on today? If people actually downloaded truth instead of the perspective or subjective reasoning of other people, or even this, if you downloaded truth and then you got the subjective from other people, you would know that it's subjective. You would know that it's not much nutrient in what they're giving you, so you need to discard the waste like your body does. When your body receives a piece of food, at first it takes the nutrients out and then it drops the waste by the wayside. Well, you're not doing that with information. You're not doing that when it comes to values, principles, and truth. You're not getting what's of substance and then dropping the waste by the wayside. So one of the things that I also want to identify is this. Where is our next leader coming from? Who is he? What is he made of? What's his statue like? What's his gait like? What's his how articulate is he? Where do we find this guy? What does he look like, right? And the reason this is so important, I want to give you guys a quick little story. If you look at even in scripture, you had judges before you had kings. They even go chronologically in the Bible. And then so the people had judges, right? And then they saw everybody else with the king. So they went to God and said, God, we want a king too. But God's like, why do you need a king? You have the king, the King of Kings. My name is God. I am who I am. And they're like, we know you're God. We know we get all things from you. All glory be to God. But we still want a king because we see all the pagans with kings. So we want a king. So, God is a merciful God. So what he said was, I'll give you a king. And he gave him one. He gave him several. And the reason I bring that story up, because look at this, look at what we're doing now. Now, I want you guys to remember, if you go back to Roosevelt, boom, first time we had a president serve that long, boom, then they closed that back up. Now we're looking at what's going on in China. They're trying to make this guy ruler for life. And then you look at what Putin's doing. I don't think Putin's coming off. That woman who ran against him, I don't know what she was thinking. I don't discredit her for trying to run against Putin, but she knew in her heart of hearts, just like the people knew, Putin's going to be there for a while. So when you look at, if you look at it, you need to be conscious, because this is what human behavior does. And don't trust me. Go look at history, because it will repeat itself. What the people are going to do, they're going to say China, superpower, and they got that guy serving for life. They're going to say Putin in Russia's superpower. Boom. Well, Putin serving. He might serve for life, to be honest with you. And they look at these other, boom, serving for life. And then they're going to be like, well, America's a superpower. Where's our leader that we're going to serve for life? You think this is, Justin, we have a democracy. And yes, you can augment a democracy to where you still have somewhat of that principality in there. Because just like with communism, just like you can do these things. This is not far-fetched. This is, if you look at how they were able to allow Mr. Roosevelt to serve for 3 terms, that was still within a democracy. That was still within a republic. You don't think that is the next step. So I'm going to foreshadow this. I'm going to foreshadow this. It's going to come to a point within the next 10 years that we're going to identify a leader and we're going to allow this person to serve for life. Within 10 years, okay, I'll say 15 max. And you don't believe me. I know you guys are skeptical, but I'm being dead serious. So I know this is going to occur because, first of all, everybody wants to do what everybody else is doing. If enough people jump off a bridge, I guarantee you there'll be some people like, wow, why am I not jumping off a bridge? And if you think I'm being ridiculous, bungee jumping. The first person came up with the idea to bungee jump. The person who was probably next to him said, you look like an idiot. But then enough people start bungee jumping. And how many Americans do you hear today? You know what? I'd like to go bungee jumping. Somebody jumped out of a plane. Sounds like a ridiculous idea. How many people today are now jumping out of planes? It sounds ridiculous until it happens. So I'm going to give you something that sounds ridiculous. We will have a leader and they're going to say this guy is the leader and we want him to serve for life. So if that is the case, I know it's the case, then what are we going to do? Well, we need to identify where that leader, I'm not talking about the next president. I don't care about the next president. I care about the next leader. Let me ask you this. In the 1960s, who had more power? And I'm not talking about the power of force. And that counts. Military force or force counts. But who had more influence without force than anybody in the 1960s? It wasn't President Kennedy. You can either say it was Martin Luther King or you can say it was Malcolm. I'm more of a Malcolm guy than Martin, but I give it to either one. They controlled people more, had more influence because they weren't president. They were leaders. They weren't leaders. Do you remember that statement? No one man should have all that power when they were referring to Mr. X. This is real. That type of leadership is there. Why do you think people follow Vladimir Putin? You think it's just because he's a part of the Kremlin and that he has military? No, it's not just about the military. Do you understand how bad Russians want Russia to be great? They want Russia to be great so bad, they're willing to throw their undying, unwavering support behind Mr. Putin. So look at this. They want to be great in China so bad that they're willing to throw things behind Mr. Xi Jinping. I'm sorry, I can't even pronounce his name correctly. Forgive me. All right. So they're so, Mr. Xi, they're so dedicated to making China better that they're willing to throw their support behind them. Okay, Mr. G. I take that back. And people, let me make this clarification. I do not get every statement correct. If you're looking at me and saying, Justin, you messed up this guy's name or you messed up this stat, to be honest with you, I don't do it on purpose, but the conversation is much deeper, so please don't get lost in the details, all right? Just that insignificant detail. All right, but let's bring it back. So with that being said, the guy represents where they want to go. Okay. I only got 2 minutes left, so listen to this, right? The guy represents where they want to go. Russians want to go to greatness. They look at Vladimir Putin, they say, this guy's going to take me to greatness. Okay, look at Mr. Z, that's over there in China. They say, we want to be great, greater than America, greater than Russia. This guy, he can take us to that promised land. When people said they wanted to get out of oppression in America, they wanted something more. They looked at Dr. Martin Luther King and they said that guy can take us there. When they wanted to be more respected as a people and be stronger as African Americans, they looked at Mr. Malcolm X. These guys need to represent where you want to go. Where is America headed? And who's the individual that embodies those things? That's the person that we need. That's the person that we're looking for. I don't want anybody else. I don't care who the next president is. The next president will not change history. The next leader will change history. The next leader that we have will be the full embodiment of what America will become. That is where our focus should lie. What does this guy look like? Wow. Does he look like me? I'm not. The next election, guys, 2020, I will only be 34. So I don't want you guys to think it's me. All right. I'm not even eligible to run for president. But with that being said, what does this guy look like? Man, I'm going to tell you the truth. He loves Jesus Christ. The leader that we need, the leader that we will get is totally different. But I'm talking about the leader that we need loves Jesus Christ. Crazy about him. Because if you're serving God, you can serve everybody under God. If you're not serving God first, you only can serve so many people. You put a limitation on on the power of your influence or the reach of your influence when you don't serve God first. This is a conversation we're going to have to finish next week. But this guy loves Jesus Christ. He's a natural born leader. What natural born leader? Check out the blogs, voiceofyoungamerica.org. Check out the app on Google Play, The Voice of Young America. You check out just check us out. This is Justin Austin. We'll be right back. The Voice of Young America.
You're listening to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin online at thevoiceofyoungamerica.org. The Voice of Young America on AM 860. The Answer.
Finding skilled and unskilled tradesmen can be a problem, whether it's temporary or long-term. Rose Employment Solutions handles all of your workers' comp needs while responsibly solving your staffing problems. You make the call, they do it all. 813-644-5037. And for the quality tradesmen in search of career growth, full-time hours, and multiple pay options, call Rose Employment Solutions, 813-644-5037. Learn more at rose-emp.com or just stop by their office, 1020 West Bush Boulevard in Tampa. I'm Justin Austin, host of The Voice of Young America. When it comes to complete auto repair and fast service, check out the pros at Auto Lens Center, 1308 East Bush Boulevard in Tampa, providing professional quality work on all American-made and foreign car models. Great pricing on complete auto repair services, oil changes, and brakes. Auto Lens Center at 1308 East Bush Boulevard, where experience and good service go a long way. Call 813-764-7891. That's 813-764-7891. Autoland Center. I'm Justin Austin with the VOYA. Do you like the vibe of downtown St. Pete? Wish that was in your neighborhood? Now it is. Check out Cafe 46 in North St. Pete. Great food, beer, and games with an artsy and vibrant atmosphere. Paintings from local artists. Grab morning breakfast, choose a sandwich off the lunch and dinner menu, or just have a drink and play some pool. Cafe 46, that's 6774 North 46th Avenue in St. Pete. Or check out cafeon46.com.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin by email, thevoyatampabay@gmail.com.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America. I'm your star host, Justin Austin. Let's give a shout out to our sponsors at Rose Employment Solutions. You make the call, they do it all. And let's get into our moment of truth for a moment. And when you become... I like how Machiavelli put it. He said he used the word prince to represent the head of government. And he said, as a prince, when you rise to power, if you're not going to do it through skill or force, he said that you're going to use the power of the nobility or you're going to use the power of the people. And the power of the nobility can get you there, but it's a very dangerous use. And the power of the people is what you truly should use if you want to rule in perpetuity. And Mr. Trump has used the power of the people. If you notice that he does not defer to any type of establishment, and I respect that. When he makes his statements, he's not making statements to the establishment. He speaks directly to the people. You can call him a Twitter president all you want to, but that's amazing, right? That instead of speaking to the establishment and letting the establishment pass it out to social media, or letting the establishment pass it out to the news outlets, and then the news outlets giving you what you want, Mr. Trump has realized that if you give it to the press first and then allow the press send it to the people, that's a dangerous thing to do. That's a very, very, very dangerous thing to do. Because you know why? Don't trust the press. The press has their own. I'm a part of the press. I have my own agenda. My own agenda is to make sure you get better at any and all costs. But anyways, that's not most people's. But the moment of truth is this. Donald Trump is smart enough to know that don't give anything to the press that you want to deliver to the people. If you want to deliver anything to the people, give it directly to them. And that's what most social media has provided for President Donald J. Trump. Now let's get on to our next section. We were talking about nobility and the populace, right? And there's been this age-old clash that the nobility and the populace are always at odds with one another. And it's because their aims are different. The nobility are nobility because of their manipulation of the populace for right and wrong reasons. Remember, the word manipulation within itself is not negative. The application of manipulation can be negative or positive. So remember that. So the nobility keeps their status by manipulating the masses. And the masses know they're being manipulated and they resent it but they need it at the same time so they can enjoy the pleasures that they incur. With that being said, there's always this battle, and the nobility and the populace. If you look at Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton, it'll tell you the rich and the poor. Some would tell you it's black and white. Some would tell you it's race on race. Whatever the case may be, the smart versus, it's always something. But let's look at it like this. Is the wealthy and corporate America the nobility of America? Because when Democrats or bleeding heart liberals like to stroke the fires of discord and dissension and division, this is one of their ultimate plays right here. They put this on and they give you their best actors when they want to produce this play of the rich and the poor. And this is age old. So there's always been a battle between the nobility and the populace. But so is is the nobility of America corporations and the wealthy? I guess so. Let's call it what it is. The only way to change something is to identify it first. So we can put it like that. People say that Donald Trump represents the nobility because his status is of nobility, right? But then there's so many people that feels like he's the people's president. So one of the things that the left has been struggling with is painting this gentleman as nobility when the people love him too. Because you know what? Donald Trump put money in people's pockets. No one's running around America saying Donald Trump is keeping me poor. That's one thing you won't be able to say. So it's hard to do this whole rich and poor thing with Mr. Trump because he speaks directly to the people. He doesn't speak directly to the rich. The rich know what they're going to get from Donald Trump, but the poor know as well. I'm starting to think Donald Trump might be reelected. It's early on, I know, Justin, but I'm really starting to think that this guy has what it takes because the nobility has to respect him. Because you know why? They know he don't need them. When you know that someone does not need you, you act accordingly. You don't treat them the same. The nobility or the corporate America or the wealthy, Donald Trump doesn't need your approval. Donald Trump doesn't need nor seek your approval. That puts you in a different place than Barack Obama or even George Bush or whomever came before. And with the populace, at no point does Donald Trump desire to ostracize the populace or be ostracized from the populace. So he caters to the populace. He talks directly to the populace. It's kind of like those fireside chats, right, from the 30s. You guys remember that? Directly to the populace. That's how you overcome the picture of what the mass media has been trying to paint Donald Trump as. Man, Donald Trump goes to other countries talking about America first, and countries hate that. No, they don't. They respect it because that's what they tell their people. What do you think that the president of Indonesia says to his people or his cabinet before he goes and sits down with Donald Trump? I'm going to make sure that I put America first. No, I'm going to make sure I put Indonesia first. So if Donald Trump comes to the table, they going to know come on, people. They don't dislike Trump. You know who dislikes Trump? The mass media. You know who dislikes Trump? The left. You know who dislikes Trump? Corporate America sometimes. You know why? Because they're not producing value. So that means that they're only producing things based off their quarterly earnings. And when that takes place, you know that when people only seek after money, they can't be trusted. I don't care what happens to the American economy right now in the sense of it's not sustainable. So I don't care if we go up. The worst thing that can happen to the American economy today, and I tell you no lie, people, the worst thing that can happen is that it actually grows. And why would you say that, Justin? Because when you have a system that's not built on value, that is called a what? A bubble. You don't think we're living in a bubble? How much does the financial sector, what percentage of the GDP is of the financial sector? Things that are just extra, debt collection services or this or that, credit restoration. And I'm not saying those things aren't important, but they're not important. The reason we have so much debt restoration because the only way new money is created in America is through debt. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if you knew that. The only way new money is created in America is through debt. So why do you think there's so many debt programs? The whole premise of our economy is based off debt. So why do you think there's so much debt collection, debt restoration, credit this, credit? That's the way it was set up. And you wonder why you struggle financially, right? You wonder why you struggle financially. It's because you were meant to struggle. Back to that nobility and populace. The nobility needs to manipulate you for them to be able to stay at their status and you to stay at yours. You know that you want everything that they have, so you're going to allow yourself to be manipulated while resenting them for having what you want. The battle between the populace and the nobility comes down to this. Most of the nobility have no values. Most of the populace have no values. So they can manipulate one another. They can be at odds. Okay, and Justin, what do you mean they have no value? You trying to say rich people have no value, poor people? No, I'm not saying that. No. I'm not saying rich or poor. I'm saying you. And what I mean by it? The nobility want to keep their place. Why? Because of selfishness, because of greed, no values. Why do you think the most dangerous person is not the poor person? So let's be completely honest and completely clear here. The most dangerous people is not the person who has little. The most dangerous person is the one who has the most, because they will do anything to keep that. There's example over time in history. If a person acquires a certain amount of wealth or status, they will do ridiculously evil things to keep that. Lack values. The populace are sitting here looking at a square box that tells them every single day that they're nothing, that they're losers, that they need this car, they need this earring, they need this makeup, they need this swimsuit, they need this type of guy, they need this type of toothpaste. You spend your whole day being told that you need something that you don't have, and you keep paying for it. You keep paying someone to tell you that you're a loser. No values. Because a man with values would not put himself in that position. You know how hard it is for me to watch TV? Because I know it's nothing on there for me. Unless it's a documentary, unless I'm watching something on C-SPAN. All that other stuff, nothing on their value. But you know what? The things that have no value make more money than things that have value. Why do you think in America, if you want to do anything that helps people, it's considered a nonprofit? Don't worry, I'll wait. Let it sink in. If you want to do anything that helps people, it's considered a nonprofit. If you want to do anything that's a distraction, it's $1 billion industry, if not trillion. Oh, you want to sell people sex? That's $1 trillion industry. You want to sell them cigarettes? $1 trillion industry. You want to sell them alcohol? $1 trillion industry. Education system is not even $1 trillion industry. Prostitution is more profitable than education. Come on, man. These things don't happen on accident. The nobility and the populace will always be at odds because they have no values. Well, Justin, every week you keep telling us we don't have any values. It's called deductive reasoning. You put something up, you look at it, and you work yourself backwards. I look at the end product. You look at the end product of America, what America puts out, then you work yourself all the way back into the character of men. And I can't go from your character to pornography without saying no values. I can't go from cigarettes all the way back. Because look, I struggle with that. I smoke black and white. I I struggle with that. I'm trying to quit because I know that me smoking is a sign that I don't value my health. I value this addiction. I tell you this because I'm not better than you. I struggle with sexual addiction. So I know that you can't go from pornography to character and cite values. I'm trying to currently quit smoking because it's no value in it. It's an addiction. It brings me nothing. It only takes from my life. I tell you these things because I live them. I'm not above you. I'm just like you. I desire value. I desire growth. So I can't do things that pose no value, holds no value, delivers no value. And most of the companies in America deliver things that are not of value. The richest industries, no values. Man, it's interesting, right? Yeah, it is. But let me tell you this, though. The Forbes top 400 list, most of those people, most of those companies, they provide you with something of substance. Look at the Forbes 400 list. There's a lot of substance there in their ownership. But that's not the most of the economy doesn't consist of that. You work your way back from the product to the character and you won't see any values. Nobility versus Populace, no values. Get some. We'll be right back. This is the Voice of Young America.
You're listening to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin online at thevoiceofyoungamerica.org. The Voice of Young America on AM 860. The Answer.
I'm Justin Austin with the VOYA. Do you like the vibe of downtown St. Pete? Wish that was in your neighborhood? Now it is. Check out Cafe 46 in North St. Pete. Great food, beer, and games with an artsy and vibrant atmosphere. Paintings from local artists. Grab morning breakfast, choose a sandwich off the lunch and dinner menu, or just have a drink and play some pool. Cafe 46, that's 6774 North 46th Avenue in St. Pete. Or check out cafeon46.com.
Ladies of Tampa Bay, are you looking for a whole new hairstyle or just want to take your current look from good to glamorous? It's time to call Tiffany. Whether it's highlights, cut, color, curls, or a wedding or special occasion, Tiffany will make your mess a masterpiece. And don't worry, guys, she does men's cuts too. Tiffany's located in North St. Pete. For an appointment, click on tiffdoeshair.com. That's tiffdoeshair.com or call 727-280-3098. tiffdoeshair.com.
Finding skilled and unskilled tradesmen can be a problem, whether it's temporary or long-term. Rose Employment Solutions handles all of your workers' comp needs while responsibly solving your staffing problems. You make the call, they do it all. 813-644-5037. And for the quality tradesmen in search of career growth, full-time hours, and multiple pay options, call Rose Employment Solutions. 813-644-5037. Learn more at rose-emp.com or just stop by their office, 1020 West Bush Boulevard in Tampa.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin by phone. Call 813-516-6851. 813-516-6851.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America. I'm your star host, Justin Austin. And let's get into our next section, which is the social piece. We're going to start it off with one of the coaches from Impact Wrestling over here in Pinellas County. We have Jaron Cole on the line. How you doing, Mr. Cole?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, sir?
All right. Blessed and not stressed. Well, at least I try to be. But yesterday I had a chance to come and check out your program. First of all, thank you. God bless you and the work that you guys are doing. Can you tell the people a little bit about Impact Wrestling?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Impact Wrestling is a program that reaches out to grade school kids, so kindergarten through 12th grade. We're there to introduce wrestling to the kids that don't know it and to improve the wrestling skills and critique the kids who do know wrestling. We base ourselves around mentorship because we have a view of reaching out to these kids and changing their lives in a positive aspect. So we bring them and add structure to their life and give them a strong, dominant figure that can tell them what's the right thing to do versus not doing that and just letting them go along and flounder and fail, which a lot of people seem to do.
Well, I just think that's amazing. My heart goes out to the kids. I love all kids, and to see what you guys are doing and knowing the impact that you have on these kids' lives. You were telling me about, I think one of the coach, Scotty, was telling me about one of your young men who's had a little change, and he said other kids are changing, just some of the problems they had before they started coming into the wrestling camp, and now how they've grown. Can you give us at least one example of some of the kids and how they've grown since they've entered the program?
Well, with our program, we stepped a little bit farther because we wanted to reach out to people who really needed help. So we reached out to social workers, and we take state kids that are in state homes and so forth. Mm-hmm. We have some pretty troubled kids in our program, kids that get in trouble every day at school, that are sitting down in suspension every day at school. And since this program was started, we have one particular kid, DJ, who literally was on the cusp of expulsion from the school. Mm-hmm. And since the program has brought him in, we've turned him around, and he's getting top grades every day. Just because of the influence that we have, we make small petty rewards, but that mean a lot to the children.
Yes.
And we ask them, we speak to them. We don't bring them in just to wrestle them. We bring them in to know what's going on with their lives and what they need help with. We bring them in just to talk to them so that they know that, like, we're here for you. We're your friend. We're your coach. We're here for you. If anybody wants you to succeed, it's us. So these kids are doing like 180 turnarounds all the way. Kids that are getting in trouble, they're doing better. Kids that are not participating enough because they're uncomfortable with themselves, they're stepping out, taking leadership positions in the school or in the classroom. It's just awesome to see the transformation that these kids have made in a short amount of time already.
You know, that's so true. I guess when I was in high school, well, we were in high school, I knew the difference that wrestling had compared to other sports. It's a team sport because you need all weight classes to win as a team. Even if you win individually, your team doesn't win unless everybody gets enough points. But it is an individual sport too. But the dedication, the training, the practice, even like the way you eat is so important. And like all of your character needs to be infused with that technique and the things that you're learning. And I mean, the character building, I think that's one of the greatest things that wrestling has an advantage over than other sports. Maybe boxing could be probably comparable, but I think wrestling probably develops your character more than other sports, than maybe martial arts or boxing. But beyond that, would you agree?
I agree to it. It's such a technical sport. I mean, it looks like it's brute force, and a lot of times it is, but so many technicalities that make you have to be a patient person, that make you have to be an analytical person. Mm-hmm. You have to understand what you're doing. It really does change you and develop you into a better person, because it only teaches you good things. I mean, I understand wrestling is physical, but you need to be physical in this day and age as well. The age of the worker is still here. It's not gone. So
no, it's not.
It really teaches these kids to be so much better. They have to pay attention to what they're doing. It's a team sport. That's an individual sport, meaning as they're playing for their team, but they're performing by themselves.
Yes.
So the pedestal that it puts you on in that moment is humongous anyway. So it causes so much stress. And just to be able to get through that stress, not only for yourself, but for your team, it's how swords are made. They're tempered in fire. That's why they were so strong. If they weren't tempered in fire, they were brittle, and they were brittle. Yeah. So it's turning these kids into everything they should be.
You're right, man. It's such a character builder. One of the things I do want to highlight that I saw yesterday, I think the kid had to be maybe 5'6" max. Kid was like 5 years old, and then the instructor was giving him things to do, and then if he messed up, the instructor would correct him. But at no point did I see the kid put his head down when he was being corrected. You know how, even the attitudes that we had when we were playing football, like coach would be like, hey, go do this. Sometimes be like, man, dang, coach, I did it right. Or what? This kid was 5 years old, maybe 6. And he made some mistakes. He made several mistakes within 5 minutes, and he got corrected. But at no point did he put his head down? Did he have an attitude? If coach was like, no, you're supposed to do it like this, and he'd be like, oh, like this, coach? The enthusiasm, the commitment that I saw in a 5-year-old boy, I don't see in grown men that I work with. So you guys are doing something special. When you can see that, it's tangible. Like just that time that I spent watching that 5-year-old built my character. You know what I mean? It goes a long way, man. It goes a very long way.
It really does. The self-discipline that we try to instill in these kids is really sticking, and it helps us to be better people. We teach these kids to be better, and it makes us better as well. And they trust us. That's our first thing. As a mentorship program, we want these kids to trust us, to be able to come to us, to be able to listen to us. And if you can establish trust with these kids, because you can get them to understand, this is what I'm doing this for you. This is what we're doing. We want you to get better. They receive that a lot better. Kids, I mean, everyone understands the difference of being talked to and talked at. So if you can make that clear and make sure these kids understand that you're talking to them, then their performance is so much better. Their whole demeanor is so much better. It changes how everything goes. So we just concentrate on being here for the kids, like being there for them literally, and it seems to work very well for us because they aim to please and they really perform well for us.
And it's all about it. When you're that young, environment, it has such a great, I mean, even as adults, but definitely at that age. So for anyone who's listening and they want to say, you know what, I want to do this for my kid. I want my kid or my nephew or how do they get started? Tell them about where you are. How can they get a part of the program? How does that work?
Well, the program is run at Forbes Recreation Center in Pinellas Park, Florida. If you're familiar with the area, it's right off the 66th Street and 94th Avenue, right next to the fire station.
Okay.
If you look up the city website, it will give you all the information you need about the program. If not, then there will be flyers on the website for your radio show that people can look at and see all the information that they need. I have a contact number, code, which is 228-297-3993, and you can call me for any questions. The kids program, it started in March and it's going to run through the end of May, but we will be having another program very soon, and we have a summer program thought in our head, so we just need a little bit more support to make sure that we want to do it or make sure that it's what everybody needs or wants. But
so if someone wants to help or donate, how can they help donate and keep your program going? What can they do?
We have a donation package set up, so all you have to do is contact us and we'll get you one.
Okay, guys, you hear that? There's no reason. These guys have taken time out of their lives to change other people's lives. And let's pass on the blessing, folks. Anyone that's listening, check out the website, thevoiceofyoungamerica.org. Is going to be information about Impact Wrestling, and give. Support the program. Give. This is what changes lives. We need one of these in every community. Mr. Cole, also, we know that you just started a new business, Coyote Cleaning LLC. Can you go ahead and tell us about that?
Yeah, I did. I started a personal pressure washing business just to help with the area beautification. As we grow older, technology is taking over, and we're building and getting closer and getting dirtier. I mean, the generation has changed and so forth. Our parents don't mind getting up and getting out and making sure their property is clean and all that. But some of us struggle with it, so some of us don't mind paying for it. And I can be the guy who you can call for a reasonable price and good help. I'm military, so military gets a big up from me, and it's a big 20% discount. So we do driveways, we do houses, cars. I mean, we can low pressure windows at businesses. We do lots, we do buildings, we do equipment. Anything you need as far as pressure washing, those services, contact us, Coyote Cleaning LLC, and we should be able to help you out.
All right, folks, you heard that, CoyoteCleaningLLC.com. Before we let you go, Mr. Cole, what will you say is what's going to be the the game plan going forward for Impact Wrestling? What are you guys looking at next? You said the summer program. Anything else?
After the summer program, just another regular program. Impact Wrestling really is made to reach out to the community. It's a lot of kids that need the help. So this is the beginning, and it became much more than we anticipated, and that's awesome because it's what we needed and what we wanted. We planned for it to become a full mentorship program that's at many different locations that kids need help, and that's the place they can go to get some help. And that's basically it. That's what we want to do. We want to help the kids. That's what we're here for.
Well, folks, this is the voice of Young American. You just heard the voice of a young American who is starting his own company, changing lives with kids, being a great father. This is what we're all about. Mr. Cole, thank you for your time, sir. God bless.
I really appreciate it, Mr. Austin. God bless you as well.
All right. Now, folks, we're getting back to our program. We're going to finish with making fathers great again. This is something that we can never get away from. And Mr. Cole is a driving example. He's a father to 2 children. Beautiful kids. Oh, they have such a great spirit. Beautiful kids. And now he sees how important it is. Like, he knows how important it is for him to be in his children's lives and to be a great force in it. Like, his kids can see that he's a military veteran. He served his country, that he's a homeowner, that he's a business owner, that he takes time out of his life and gives back to the community and changes other people's lives. These are the examples young men need to see. And what they're doing is so impactful. If you can rear a child up in discipline and self-discipline, what will that child be? I mean, come on. This is amazing, right? One of the biggest problems with people climbing the corporate ladder is their emotional intelligence. And I tell you this from experience. From the ages of 21 to 26, when I did want to climb the ladder of someone's business before I decided that I need to create my own empire, God willing, I blew opportunities because my intellect was very high and it's still high, but my emotional IQ was not very good. It was not very good. And it's something that I work on. I'm still developing, and that's based on my relationship with God and the ambitions and the desires and my vision. But that's something that I didn't get. And you know what? I did not know the importance of. No one taught me the importance of emotional IQ. People always told me, Justin, you're smart. You can do anything in this life. No one ever said, Justin, you're extremely smart. Get your emotional IQ as high as your IQ, and then you will be able to accomplish anything in this world. No one ever told me that. What wrestling does, if you go a full 6-minute match, it's 3 rounds, 2 minutes a pop. If you go the full 3 rounds from start to finish and give your all, what you're required to do, because I don't know how can you wrestle otherwise, I threw up the first time. My body did not know what to do with that much exertion, so I threw up after my first 6-minute match. The thing of it is, most people don't know what to do in these situations that they're being put in because they haven't been trained like this 5-year-old is being trained right now to deal with that 6-minute match. Your parents, your fathers are to train you up. Okay, scratch all that. I can give you example after example, but Emmett Smith said it best. All men were created equal. Some work harder in preseason. All men are created equal. Some work harder in preseason. Make fathers great again. Fathers are coaches in preseason. So when that game comes, your son's ready. You, as a father, are a coach. Get your child ready in preseason so he can show up for the game. Justin Austin, the voice of Young America. Be blessed.
You've been listening to The Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. The Voice of Young America relies on committed Americans like you to stand with us. If you're frustrated with the lack of real information being delivered to the next generation, then support Justin's efforts. Connect on social media, online at thevoiceofyoungamerica.org. Email thevoyatampabay@gmail.com. And be sure to join us next Saturday evening at 6 for The Voice of Young America, here on AM 860. The Answer.